Welcome back to the Real Quick with Mike Swick podcast. Today we have Ali Abdelaziz, the founder and owner of Dominance MMA Sports Agency. Ali has some of the greatest fighters in the sport under his management, enormous amount of fighters in the UFC, some of the biggest names in the sport, Cejudo, not even mentioning Khabib and Gaethje, who are fighting in one of the biggest fights of all time coming up, Usman, Burns, again, another two fighters that are fighting in a huge fight coming up, and many, many others. So this is the first time I've ever had a sports agent on the show. It's going to be very interesting to get his perspective, his take on the sport, his take on his fighters, in these upcoming fights with his own guys. So let's get started. Ali, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, my brother. I'm a huge fan of yours. I've been, always, so are, is. And every time I go to AKA, I see your pictures on the walls, and now I'm talking to you, and it's a huge honor to talk to you, for sure.
Thank you, man. It's an honor to talk to you, man. You're one of the best in the business right now, and you got a lot of big fighters and a lot of big fights. And speaking of which, you got Khabib versus Gaethje coming up, and you got Usman versus Burns. Obviously, Gaethje and Khabib is October 25th, and I think Usman and Burns is somewhere around November, December. How is that having? I mean, that's just two fights, and if you've had multiple fighters fight each other before, or I guess one before, and then some in the future, I'm sure. How is that with those guys fighting each other and you managing all of them?
You know what? It's kind of, I experienced that, right? Because Marlon Moraes fought Henry Cejudo. I know Henry since the Olympic Training Center for so long, and I've been managing Marlon for 8 years, right? And when they fought, I made sure they have the right deal, the right date, healthy. Yeah. And I told them, guys, I love both of you. I'm not going to go to the fight. And they told me why. I said, because if somebody win, I'm not going to go see them. I'm always going to go with the loser. Right. That's how I am, right? And I very much understand it. I didn't go to the fight. And even during the fight, Dana White said, hey, text me. He's like, where are you? I said, hey, I'm not here. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I understand. And I just kind of very much like, I don't want to see somebody lose. But at the end of the day, they work all their life to get there, right? Yeah. And who I am as a person to stand between them, not to fight, right? But at the end of the day, they fought. Henry won. It was a great fight. Yeah. It was a fight of the night. And at the end of the day, just they moved on. And I'm in a situation here with Khabib and Justin. Khabib is like a brother to me. Justin, I know I've been managing Justin for 8 years. They both awesome people, very respectful. They the best to ever do it. My opinion, they're the greatest lightweight title fight in history. Yeah. This is my opinion. We saw what Justin Gaethje did to Tony Ferguson, right? Everybody thought Tony Ferguson is the guy who's going to beat Khabib. But realistically, he dismantled him, and Khabib will probably do the same thing to him. I believe at this moment, this is the best two lightweight ever in the biggest lightweight title fight. Maybe not financially, but I'm talking about it's so much trophy to collect, right? An interim champ, veteran champ, a guy he never win, never been knocked down, never been cut, never bleed in a fight, never have a black eye. I see some of the guys in the training give him harder round than some of the guys who fought, right? He make it look easy, but also you have a guy, Division I wrestler. He's a savage. His coach, Trevor Whitman, one of the best coaches we ever seen. Javier Mendez, one of the greatest coaches we ever seen too. And I think it's just and both guys respect each other so much. Yeah. And for me, as a fan, I'd be like, wow, this is an amazing fight, right? And I'm just looking forward to it. It's gonna be hard to see somebody to lose, but it's the name of the game. And and I'm here to make dream become truth. Right? And this is the guys they dream to become a world champion, and they both are right now. Right now, who's gonna get the biggest trophy, the baddest man in lightweight history, right? And we're gonna see October 26th. It's gonna be an amazing fight, I believe so.
It's gonna be crazy, and like I said this on multiple podcasts before now with Javier, with Daniel Cormier. I've always said, even before the Ferguson fight, because I'm biased obviously with Khabib. Khabib's my teammate, and I always want him to win. And I truly do feel no one's gonna beat him, and I feel like he could be the first fighter to retire undefeated. But I've always said, to me, the most dangerous fight as of late would be Justin Gaethje. And then when Justin Gaethje fought Tony Ferguson and fought him like he did, that just like cemented that even more and made it even more scary because, I mean, overall, I still say Khabib's a better fighter against anyone, but also, when you look at Justin Gaethje, he has that kryptonite that he can land and end anybody. And so when you have a fighter like that, that's a dangerous fight, for anyone, even Khabib.
Let me tell you something. Justin Gaethje is not fighting the UFC lightweight champion, Khabib Nurmagomedov. He's fighting the greatest fighter we ever seen on the planet.
I agree.
And the way I said it, Khabib never really lost a round, never been dropped, never been cut, never really been hurt in a fight, right? He never had PED. And I'm not taking shots at any other fighters.
Right.
And I feel like George St-Pierre has been finished, been knocked out, right? John Jones, he lost rounds, split decisions, he's been through it. And I feel Justin Gaethje is fighting the greatest fighter of all the time.
I agree.
He's not just fighting the greatest lightweight ever. Khabib Nurmagomedov is the best fighter we ever seen, and I don't think we'll ever see anyone like him anytime soon. You understand?
Yeah.
You see this guy comes at. We've seen glimpses of Khabib, right? The 170, who I represent also. We see glimpses of him, right? The guy's, he doesn't get hit. He doesn't get touched, right? But he's not there yet. He's not there yet. He have a lot to prove. Khabib is the greatest fighter of all the time. It's not Anderson. It's not John. I respect both of these guys, what I accomplished. Khabib Nurmagomedov. And he is great in the cage and outside the cage. Greatness becomes about what you do outside, what you do inside. Inside, nobody touched him. People touch George St-Pierre. People touch John Jones. People beat Anderson, right? They all been beaten somehow, right? Khabib never been touched, never been beaten, never been hurt.
Yeah.
And he clean as a whistle, right? And Justin Gaethje he understands. Justin is a realist, man. That's why I love Justin Gaethje. Because you know what? He said, I'm fighting for my life. And he really, truly believes so.
Yeah.
You understand? And Khabib, too. Khabib respects Justin a lot. And it's funny, when Khabib come back, when he was injured, he fought with Holcher. And at the time, I managed Justin Gaethje. He was the champ of WSOF. And he was with me, and he helped Khabib to cut weight in the sauna, right? They know each other. And I do my media day every year. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. They both sit next to each other. They talk. They respect each other.
Yeah.
And one of the things will probably make me not happy if there's a lot of disrespect, talking shit, like this kind of stuff, right? And we try to avoid that,
Right.
But for people bring it on us, guess what? We're ready for it, right? But I think it's going to be one of the greatest fights we've ever seen. And I think, listen, it's a puzzle. Khabib is a puzzle.
Yeah.
28 opponents have tried, 8 opponents have failed, right?
Yep.
The Justin Gaethje probably is the hardest fight for Khabib's career. I think so.
Yeah.
I stylistically, yes. But also, Khabib is a puzzle nobody ever solved, right? And it's, Justin Gaethje and his team, they're going to try to solve it. And the only way to find out, to tune in, October 26th, by the pay-per-view and watch that fight. This is my opinion, my humble opinion.
Let me ask you, so obviously you're really close with Khabib, and, as a fighter myself, having multiple fights in the UFC, I know that there's a physical aspect to being a fighter, and there's a mental aspect. There's a lot of mental fortitude that goes into fighting as well. What do you think it is that sets Khabib apart, other than just his physical wrestling attributes, above every other fighter? Like, what is it?
Justin and Khabib have something in common, right? I'm going to tell you a story. When Tony Ferguson was supposed to fight Khabib in Brooklyn, the opponent, they brought Max. Max didn't make weight. They brought to bring Pettis. And Khabib was making weight, and he's about to sleep. And he said, I'm going to sleep. It was Al Quinta, Paul Felder, and Pettis, right? This is the 3 options.
Yep.
And very much said, I'm going to sleep. They send you about agreement, sign it. Don't tell me who it is. When I wake up, let me know who it is. I'm going to sleep. And thinking up Al, they bring him the food. I walk to the room, and I didn't say nothing, right? And we start eating everything. We have a fight. I said, yeah, I don't want to fight. He didn't even ask me who. I was, yeah, going to ask me? He's like, it doesn't matter. It's just a face. And I was like, this dude is crazy. And I told him it's Al, and he's like, okay, perfect. Let's do it, right? And Justin Gaethje, I was his promoter at one point, but also I was his manager. I was a promoter and manager. Huge conflict. Everybody know about it. But he never really questioned an opponent. He said yes to every opponent. It's few guys in my life I can say that.
Yeah.
Like Kamaru Usman, Fabricio Verdun, Frankie Edgar, Khabib, Justin Gaethje. Islam Makhachev. Certain guys, they don't even question who their
Yeah.
opponent is, right? And this is the dying breed because this now day and ages. Guys asking who, when, where, and it's okay. Everybody's different. But this is the five guys I can remember on top of my head. They don't really care who they fight. They can fight anybody. And Benil Darush.
Yeah.
Benil Darush will fight anybody, anytime, anywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody from King's MMA is like that.
Yeah.
It's like it's very interesting.
From a business perspective, when you have like Gaethje coming up as much as he has, he's been winning amazing fights, a huge win over Ferguson, obviously. How much does his value to you as a business and as a brand go up by him just fighting Khabib? Like just this fight alone, win or lose, how much bigger does he become?
I think humiliating Tony Ferguson like that, he already a huge star.
Yeah.
He already huge stars before, even when he loses. It's never been a Justin Gaethje in the UFC before.
Right.
It's never been, the guy have 6 fights, 9 bonuses, something crazy like that, right? He get 2 fights, he got double bonuses. This has never happened in history, right? He
That's
never not fought once and then get a bonus, at least 1 or 2, right? He's a dying breed. I don't think also, we never see anybody like Gaethje. We never see an All-American Division I who doesn't even try to take people down. And he truly entertained. I was talking to him. I was like, bro, why you don't take people down? Because I spar with him.
Yeah.
And I know he can take me down. I spar with all my guys, Khabib and Justin. And he take me down. So I was like, why don't you? He's like, man, I'm trying to entertain. I'm not trying to hold people down. And I was like, okay. And I'm not saying sometimes maybe it's not the smartest approach, but that's why we love him so much, right? That's why we're talking about him now. This is why he got the opportunity to fight Tony. That's why he's fighting for the title with Khabib, because he risked. For every risk, there is a reward.
Yeah, and then obviously you have Usman and Burns, and then Usman has this issue with Colby. And I saw the video of you and Colby getting into it. It looked like a casino or something. So I have to ask you, who do you dislike more, from Conor McGregor or Colby Covington, and why?
Colby was like riding off what Conor said about us, And to be honest with you, I never want to be an altercation with the fighters, whatever. But also, you can't say some racial things about me and stuff like that. And he got, listen, I'm not proud. I slapped him in the middle of the casino. He deserved it 100%. I will not take it back. But also, he called the cops after me, and after that, I go to court. Now I understand people in this country is going to say things, and I'm not like a gangster or anything like that. But I grew up in a place. I'm going to be very respectful to you, but if you say something to me, to insult me, insult my family, I'm going to confront you about it, right? And this is what happened, and listen, it's embarrassing because, I'm a manager now, I'm not a fighter anymore, and I get into all the fighters, but it's also, honestly, it felt good. It felt good.
Yeah.
It just felt good because he talked bad about everybody, and I got so much love from fans, from other fighters. But I spent a lot of money on the lawyer, but it is what it is, and we moved on. He can't keep talking. He's a nobody, man. He's just a guy who want to get the attention. He doesn't even like Donald Trump. He used Donald Trump to promote himself, right? He's a user, right? And who cares what this guy think?
That's why I asked his like ranking, I guess, with you between him and Conor, because I know you had it out with Conor before. I know it's in the past or whatever, but just on a level of like who's annoyed you the most or been more stressful.
The whole thing is like I said, Conor said some things, right? What we did to him, Khabib beat his butt, right?
That might have solved it.
Colby said something to me and Kamaru, and they smart. They use me. They use my name in there to get to my fighters, right?
Yeah.
Because I put myself out there. I do a lot of media, and I know a lot of other managers. They don't do what I do. I'm not saying I'm better than them, but I'm in it, and I love my fighters. And Conor take it to a different level. I think Conor he just talked about family and stuff like that. I think family, with Conor, is never over.
Yeah.
With Colby, I don't really care about him, right? But Conor is never over because I think he said something. He might went to jail for some of the stuff he did, but I think if me and Khabib and him, how he feel is never over with him, right? It's always going to be ongoing, and it is what it is, and He digged a hole. I don't think he can fill. And we, Khabib buried him, but we can bury him again. There's no problem.
Could you share one thing with me real fast? Since you said the gangster thing earlier with Colby, and then now with Conor, you were on the bus when Conor threw the dolly in the bus, and I heard you say something on the Mike Tyson podcast that was very interesting that I never knew, and I know a lot about Khabib and the story and this whole thing, but the part about the cameras and the gangster, could you repeat what Khabib said when they charged the bus, and Khabib mentioned about the camera thing?
Now, we was on the bus, and very much these guys come into the bus, start throwing stuff on the bus, throwing stuff on the bus. But in a way, you can't, if you are a real gangster and coming to do something, right? You don't bring a cameraman with you to film what you're about to do, right? And they was doing everything for show, but realistically, you are a professional athlete, right?
Yeah.
Why you bring a whole bunch of hoodlums to attack a bus with a whole bunch of girls and guys making weight, they're cutting weight to make a fight, right?
Yeah.
And I think it was just horrible to attack these people in the bus. And
Sure.
I'm one of the people, I want to jump out of the bus.
I heard you did.
And but realistically, man, listen, at the end of the day, Conor's an old news. We stay positive. We treat people with respect. Khabib probably one of the nicest guy we've ever seen. He been his teammate. He been around for, how good of a person he is. Yep. And honestly, he make me a better person.
Yeah.
He make me want to do better things, right? We do a lot of charity, a lot of things, and nobody know about it. We don't just put it on Instagram and stuff like that. And this is part of our culture and part of who we are, right? But realistically, Conor McGregor, he's irrelevant right now. Nobody cares.
One thing I wanted to ask you, too, it seems real cliquey in the sport. I mean, with management, with coaches, with trainers, even with teammates sometimes. But you have such a wide variety of fighters. I mean, you have a ton of fighters on your roster, but you have such a wide variety of personalities and different types of fighters. What is it, do you think, about you that keeps them so loyal to you and have so much trust in you? Because it's such just a broad group, and they all have so much trust in you and are loyal to you and speak so highly of you.
Because if your mother's sick, I'm gonna be there for you. If your father's sick, if your car getting repossessed, if something happened to your children, I go out of my ways. And for me, it's about relationship. Money's always come, right? I've never been a money guy. I never, and this is why I make very good money now, because I never really put money before a relationship. And I feel like, I'm very loyal. I'm very loyal, and I feel even people been with me for 10, 12 years, they're so loyal to me. And for all this year, I never really have a fighter left, right? Like under contract with me. Like somebody under contract ever left. And this is something I'm very proud. And I'm also very grateful for. But I go out of my way to do things you can never imagine. Like now, everybody say I'm the biggest manager in the sport. I got this. I have no problem taking my clothes off and cutting weight with a guy. I have no problem. A guy need a sparring partner. I'll put on gloves and shin guard and I give him 2-3 rounds, right? I spar with Khabib, with Gaethje, and I spar with DC like for fun. And I love martial arts. When I feel I'm truly a martial artist. I'm a more martial artist than a manager, and I think being a martial artist make me such a huge understanding what these guys need, right? And I really love all these guys, and these guys, without them, I'm nothing. I'm a poor kid from Egypt. I come here with $97 in my pocket. I didn't speak one word of English. I struggle. I've been in trouble. I got out of it. Like I just come here with nothing, and I can't even speak English, and I make something out of something, and I'm so grateful. So grateful for everything I accomplished and well accomplished, and I'm just grateful for everything. That's about it,
Hey, what's up, everybody? I want to take a second to thank our sponsor, aka Thailand, the world's premier luxury training resort here in Phuket, Thailand. As of the recording of this podcast, we are still doing a 30% off reopened special for all group training. You can go to akthailand.com and take advantage of it right now, or email us at info@akthailand.com if you have any questions. If you're not familiar with AK Thailand, here you go.
What's up, everybody? I am here in Thailand. This is the first time I've ever been here. Been dying to come here for years. Mike Swick, he's one of the big reasons he's been trying to pull me down here. What he built down here, AKA Thailand, is incredible. There's people here from all over the world. You can train mixed martial arts here, jiu-jitsu. They have weightlifting, they have cardio, and obviously they have Muay Thai, boxing, everything. I'm telling you guys, I know everybody wants to go to Thailand because Thailand's so cool, but you can't come to Thailand without coming to AKA Thailand. Come on.
I know you had a martial arts background and then training and then managing now. What started that? And was Egypt big in martial arts? I know you said on the Tyson podcast that Tyson was huge in Egypt. Is martial arts big there? Like, what got you into martial arts in the first place, like with MMA and training?
Honestly, I started doing judo. I'm like 5 years old, and judo is for like rich people, right? And I wasn't rich. We was poor. And I very much, one of my friends, my cousin took me with him, and I stuck to it. And I said, I want to make something out of nothing. And I come here with the Egyptian team and at the US Open, and I really like it. And I was an alternate for other tournaments, and I competed. When I come here, the coach said, his name is Eddie Lady. He said, why you don't come back and train with us? And when I went to Egypt, and I said, you know what? I'm going to just, move back to America. And I have like $97. Like I said, I didn't speak one word of English. And I said, you know what? And I come there. I moved to Colorado Springs to the Olympic Training Center. And I started fighting, and after that, when I was done, I met George St-Pierre in New Mexico, and he's like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I'm just trying to, he's like, come to me to New York, and I went to New York, I met Renzo, and after that, I was fighting, and I fought in K1, the K1 here one time, and I hurt my shoulder really bad, and I didn't have money, and Renzo was like, you know what, you can stay here, help us, and I started working in the gym, and after that, I started working, helping the guys, and Renzo said, listen, I want to be in the UFC, can you manage me? I was like, dude, I never managed anybody. And actually, my first meeting in the UFC, it was with Dana Lorenzo. Wow. And to be honest with you, like a lot of people have problems with Dana. I love Dana.
Yeah, I do
He's
too.
one of my mentor. He really teach me a lot, and I'm always going to be good to him. Of course, we're going to agree and disagree on some business decision, but Dana White is like he's somebody I really look up to. And a lot of these people said, you work for the UFC. I was like, no, I don't. I think I a little bit changed the management game because I feel before the management and promoter are supposed to hit each other, right? You've been there, right?
Yeah.
And I feel I'm gonna tell you how I feel. You're gonna tell me how I feel. We're gonna agree and disagree, but right. I'm gonna respect you. I love Dana White. I don't care what people say, what I said there. A lot of people said, I love him. He's been good to me. He helped me even outside fighting. It was so many different things. And who's somebody I really look up to, and this is how I started. Man, I met Dana Lorenzo, and his history from there.
And going back to you mentioned GSP, being Khabib's manager, do you think the GSP Khabib fight will happen or won't happen? Just what do you think right now?
Man, listen, George is a friend of mine. Like at the end of the day, I'm the last person who is gonna call George out, right? But if him and Khabib want to fight and they want to make $20 million each. If that's what they want, but I don't think Khabib want to fight George for is the money. I think he want to fight George for the legacy because his father, right? And listen, I think George, at this age of his career, if he got to 55, maybe he's going to be very weak, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, listen, we have to, this whole George St-Pierre talk, we shouldn't talk about it because I feel Justin Gaethje deserve enough respect.
Absolutely. Yeah, I didn't mean any disrespect to him for sure.
And I feel like, but I'm talking about it like outside Justin, right? It makes no sense for George to come to 155, right? But right now, I was like, it's Justin Gaethje fighting Khabib, and this is what's matter.
Yeah.
What's matter. Like, this whole Floyd wanna fight Khabib. He's texting me, he called me, but at the end of the day, Why I gotta give you this opportunity to make $200 million, but realistically, you're gonna box with him, right? We'll give you 10 rounds of boxing and 1 round of MMA. And realistically, but and everybody want to fight Khabib, right? Because
Yeah.
Khabib right now is the mega money fight, right? And I understand it, but Floyd is like, he's like, I got money. If you got money, why you keep calling and texting and let's make this fight happen? Realistically, I don't give a shit about Floyd, because realistically, Floyd is about just making money. Khabib doesn't need Floyd,
Yeah.
right? He always said he's the A side. Realistically, he's like almost 50 years old. He should not be fighting, right? For his health, for his family, for his kids. And realistically, like, who cares what he wants, right? But if they both want to fight and make a whole bunch of money, $100 million each, if that's what Khabib wants, I can make it happen. But realistically, I think we have not to overlook Justin Gaethje. And I know a
Absolutely.
lot of talk, Conor rematch, George, Floyd, all this kind of stuff. Realistically, I think Khabib want to focus on Justin. Justin want to focus on Khabib. And I feel these two guys need the respect
Yeah.
for us to talk both about them.
And not overlooking Justin, but just going back real fast from your talkings and your dealings with Floyd. Do you think Floyd would ever be motivated enough to actually put on some kind of fair arrangement where it's not just boxing a predominant wrestler, but maybe he would give in and do some sort of like something to even out the odds a little bit? Or do you think he would only just try to come in and box?
I told this to Floyd in his face. I said, realistically, boxing, it's a playing by the rules. If
Yeah.
Khabib met you in a street fight, he will beat your ass. And the UFC is just like street, is like almost like a street fight, right?
Yeah.
Like if they fight, Khabib will maul him,
Yeah.
And I think I told him, and he was talking shit. I was talking shit back. I said, you have to get a life insurance because he might kill you.
Yeah.
Khabib is Floyd is a small guy. He's fragile, and I think for someone like Khabib grabbing you and laying on top of you, he gonna make him suffocate. And I don't want to see Floyd get hurt, because I don't think it's an equal fight. I don't think it'll be a fair fight for Khabib to fight Floyd in the UFC.
And going back to the biggest fight in lightweight history and one of the biggest fights in the world right now, where do you think, since you're so close to Khabib and with all what's happened with his father and everything else, where do you think his mind is right now, being who he is, and how do you think that's going to affect the fight? Do you think he's going to be able to use that and come out strong emotionally for positive?
I think he's more motivated than ever. I think the passing of his father, he feel he have obligation. Khabib always put pressure on himself, right?
Yeah.
He does. Even in his father's life, he have this high hopes for himself. He want to do so well, right? And realistically, I think he's very motivated. Because he understands Justin Gaethje is not a pushover.
Right.
He understand. He fighting one of the best fighter he ever faced. And realistically, I think it is the truth. Justin Gaethje is probably one of the biggest buzzle, like Khabib is the biggest buzzle. And we're gonna see what happened October 26th.
I got you. And I know it's really late for you. And just really fast before I let you go, just to give an idea of the kind of deals you do and where the sport is now, can you give any details of one of the biggest deals you've ever done before? Like, you don't have to get specifics on money-wise or whatever, but just to let people know kind of where we're at in the sport, because you handle the biggest guys. Is there any like broad spectrum kind of details you can give on like what type of level of deals you've worked on for some of your guys?
Like, to be honest, I know a lot of managers do like this 8-fight deal and 7-fight deal, and I think it's crazy. Like, it's insane. Like, I know Masvidal and John Jones, they make these crazy deals. I'm not knocking on their management, but at the end of the day, like, why are you making these long deals? Like, this is what I told young fighters: don't make long deals. Make 3, 4 fight deals, maybe 5, if you're making $10 million a fight, right? But realistically, don't lock yourself down and this crazy deals. And listen, at the end of the day, guys making a lot more money now. Like, believe me, some people in the UFC making 10 million, 5 million, 4 million, 2 million fight is a norm now. It's like, I know everybody always want to make more money, right? Always, hey, Dana, pay me, right? But realistically, I think right now, my guy's making a lot of money. And of course, they want to make more money, right? Everybody want more money. But I think, consider it like 5 years ago, it's not even close.
I was more talking about, like, I understand the fighter person. I didn't really want to get into that because, I mean, obviously that's kind of a personal thing. But I meant more along the lines of sponsorship, endorsements, things like that. Is that coming along big? Like, are you making big deals as far as like equal to other type sports that are big? I mean, that's kind of where I was going.
Guys like Khabib, yes, he making this
Khabib,
type
of course,
deal,
yeah.
I think, outside Khabib, some guys making 40, 50 grand a month.
That's a lot.
But I'm not.
I mean,
They're not making 300,000 a month,
right?
right?
Yeah, of course.
Khabib, Conor probably making this kind of money, right?
Yeah.
But other guys probably making 30, 40 a month, 50 months, and this is not bad for being a UFC fighter. But also, if you look at social media, I think a couple of guys in NBA have big social media, right?
Right.
A lot of the UFC fighters have huge social media following,
Yeah.
right? And I think the sport is growing. I think the pandemic helped the sport to grow. And I think because more people tune into it.
And is the pandemic affecting this now? Like, I know obviously because the economy is down, is that hurting sponsorships? Because I've heard of a lot of fighters actually losing sponsors now.
Yeah, the pandemic losing sponsorship. But you can't take away from the UFC and Dana White what they did.
Absolutely
what they did was unbelievable. If people do not give Dana White credit, they're out of their mind. They're just haters, right? Dana White, all of us are making money because this man stepped up. He linked up with President Trump, whatever they did, and they got us. Everybody's making money, right?
Absolutely.
And if anybody out there who saying any bad things about Dana, they just honestly straight up haters. They need to be slapped in the face. This is my opinion because he take the lead. Like Bellator follow, LFA follow, everybody follow, and you have to give this man the respect he deserves. And honestly, I always respect him. I always have a lot of love for him, but I respect him now on a different level for what he did. And I don't think people understand what he did to this day. People still complaining and talking shit. I was like, dude, if he didn't do that, all of us have been sitting home. Nobody's making money. And this is one thing, it kind of pissed me off. Yeah. But, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I've always respected Dana and my relationship with him as well. And, I know him quite well through time and what he's done. And even when he first announced what he was going to do and keep these fights going and do this whole thing, I was blown away. Even I was and I know him, and I know he does what he says. But even I was what are you talking about, man? What are you doing? It's like a pandemic. Are you crazy? I thought I was there's no way you're going to get this done. And he's having huge fights right now. It's almost huge fights. It's crazy. It's
bro, Dana's the man, bro. Anybody say outside that, they just hate her. Dana is the man, 100%. Yeah. There's never been one like him. It will never be one like him. This is the reality. And there's a lot of great promoters out there, and they trying hard. And I'm grateful for Bellator. I'm grateful for ONE FC, Chaudhry, and these guys. They follow the suit, and they're doing a great job too. But he started it. He have to get the credit, and they need to get the credit too.
And last question, because I know it's super late for you, and I greatly appreciate your time. I'm buying fighter stock. I'm buying fighter stock right now. Who am I going to invest in on your roster? Who is coming up on the rise the fastest? Do you think that's going to be maybe that next big superstar? I'm sure you got a few of them.
Khabib is younger cousin Usman Nurmagomedov. He's 10-0. I think he's very good. Got Khamzat Chimaev. He fought 2 times in 2 weeks. I think he's a problem. And one guy doesn't give enough credit, and he established. I think Kamaru Usman is the greatest welterweight of all the time. I honestly, I love George St-Pierre. I don't think George St-Pierre, because Kamaru, he only have one tough fight in the UFC, 12 fights, right? Colby, and he knocked him out, right? I think he doesn't get enough credit. I think he's so good, and he's so smart, and I don't think he give enough credit. And I feel right now, when I look at everybody, I believe he's the greatest welterweight of all the time. He never said it. Tyron Woodley was saying he's the greatest welterweight all the time. We see what he did. He sunned him. He make him look like an amateur, right? Also, Gilbert Burns make Tyron Woodley look like an amateur.
Yeah.
I think him and Kamaru is going to be an interesting fight. They both friends, they teammate, and I think they know each other too well. It's going to be interesting how this fight going to turn out.
I was going to ask you. Tyron's my friend, and those were rough fights for sure. I was going to ask you though, what do you see happening with Colby and Tyron? Last question.
I honestly, like, Tyron, I don't know, man. He's gonna, like, he say a lot of things, and honestly, I really love his mother. She's like always commenting on my kids, stuff like that. But he said some things over some TMZ, like, about me and Justin, all these guys, and I don't know. I never did nothing to him, right? But at the end of the day, like, I feel when you lost to Kamaru, you lost to Gerber. Why would you fight Colby? I think this is, sometimes you need a reset. You understand? You need a reset. You can't just have killer after killer after killer, right? And Colby, hate him or love him, he's tough, man.
He's tough for really sure, tough.
Yeah. Whatever he does, right? And I think they should have fight, but not now. I think you have to build your confidence back, right? But honestly, who I am to say he should fight, not fight? Maybe he knows something I don't know. You understand? Maybe he can go out and he knock Colby's blockhead off, and I want him to. I'm actually
you're rooting for Tyron
to knock him. Even he says some shit, but I really think Tyron deep down is a good guy, and I know his mother. She's a great lady, and honestly, Colby Covington is just a bad human being, and I want to see him. I'm not gonna cheer for him. I don't want him. I don't wish him bad, because this is not me type of person, but I don't want to see a guy like that beat Tyron.
Yeah. Well, listen, man, I greatly appreciate you taking time. I know it's crazy late for you, and I know it's tough scheduling this, and man, I really, really appreciate it. It's been great talking to you and getting your perspective, being a fight manager and being one of the best and having one of the best rosters in the sport. So thank you so much for being on my show.
My pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Okay, take care, Ali. All right, there we go. Ali Abdelaziz from Dominance MMA, one of the best sports managers in the business. I mean, he has, as we've just talked about, some of the greatest fighters in the sport. I think it was a great conversation to talk to a sports agent and get his perspective. It's a very unique dynamic having fighters, because I know he's very close to his fighters through Khabib, and to have them fighting each other, it must just be such a crazy thing. So we'll see how that goes coming up later on this year. October 25th is Khabib versus Gaethje. It looks like Usman versus Gilbert Burns is probably going to be around November, December. I don't think they've announced a date on that yet. But anyway, guys, subscribe if you haven't on YouTube. Leave a comment. Let us know what you think, who you'd like to see on the show. We got a huge week this week. This is one of 4 guests this week. So it's a very busy week. So stay tuned, subscribe, get ready. If you're listening on the audio platforms, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, you can subscribe and review us there as well. Thank you for all the support. We love the comments. We love the feedback. We love the reviews. I greatly appreciate all of you guys that are following and enjoying the conversation. And I'll see you next time.
Real quick with Mike Swick.